All right. So there is more good than bad in your game, but there's several things we can do to create better, more consistent ball motion. We don't just work on things so you look differently. There's a purpose, and everything on the lane is a result of your approach. One thing I would definitely suggest is altering your stance a little bit. It's a little bit extreme. Um, in this position here, like the right shoulder or the right elbow is as high as your shoulder. Okay, I don't think that's necessary. And you can see there's no way to have the right hand helping hold the weight when it's on the front. Okay, there is nothing in your body facing your target line. From the back view, we'll see like your body is facing like the middle of the center. Okay, even when you're trying to swing it, we never want a crazy big open body angle. Here we can see there's a big gap from your left arm to your body. Okay, so we do want some body shape. I think you have too much. Okay, just as an example here, let's use some pros. I'll use different pros for different reasons. We'll just do a little sampling here. If we look at back view with Brad. Now, and he's swinging the ball more than you are today, and everything is facing his lane. Okay? Yeah, the hip is still out of the way. I can make him left-handed so you don't have to reverse anything. Better than seeing you as a righty. Okay? So, yes, we do want the head over the left side, the left shoulder's a little bit lower, and really he's doing it with his right hip. Okay? But the arm is against the side. Okay? If we look at side view with him, elbow's just below the shoulder, wrist is level with the elbow. Okay? If we look at somebody else, let's look at somebody swinging the ball even more. It's going to sound like Marshall Kent here in this video. So same thing. He is creating space. His hip is a little bit left, but everything is facing his lane. And the arm is against the side. When you hold the weight away from you, you're creating more tension in the upper body. Now, if I started counting 1,000, 1,000, from the time he got set and I got to 10, he would be fine. I don't think you would be. Okay. So when you can't hold your position, not that you would do it before every shot or else all the balls around would be kind of complaining about you if you took 10 seconds all the time. But you should be able to hold that ball for 10 seconds and not be uncomfortable. Okay. He would have no problem. I don't think he would have a problem. If I start count 1,000, 1,000 to 10, I think you would get my point. Okay. That position is not good for the low back either. Now, you're still relatively young. You're not going to stay that way. So I think we can adjust that, get you a little bit more upright, um, just so there's less extreme body angles. Okay. Let's go to your side view. We're going to check out timing. So timing, you cannot see from the back. You can't see size of step from the back. You can't see fluidity or momentum. Okay. Let's go into the footwork here. Okay. So I think the first step is kind of big and forceful. Usually the first step is going to be one of your smallest. It's your biggest. Okay. So usually the first step is going to be nice and small, like a half a step at the most. Okay. So we can shorten that first step, and that might give you room for some other steps. A lot of guys with your height swing, their ball, their foot, or their toes are by that second row of dots. You're 18 inches past that. Okay. Let's go to step two. On step two, the ball should go out and down a little bit. It does, but look at the size of step two. I would like to see step two almost like a natural size stride. I know that's not your natural stride. Okay. But some of that is your starting position. There's a lot to change to get where you want to get to. Okay. And the more you have to change something, the harder it is to do it consistently. Okay. On the next step, ball should come down and back. And again, a super small three. And those two steps are important. If you lose time of distance of 2 and 3, you have to pull your swing around into position because you don't have time with the lower body. And legs are stronger than arms. And when you use your lower body more effectively, the upper body won't be used as much. Your body just figures it out. Okay. Let's go to the next step. Okay. And now that step gets a little bit bigger for two reasons. One, to get you a little bit closer to the foul line, but two, to give your swing more time because 2 and 3 robbed you of time. Okay. So right about there is the top of your backswing. Top of the ball, it's a little bit above your head, which I think is fine. Okay. The backswing goes where it kind of has time to go. Okay. Ideally, you'd be close to the top of the backswing at the end of step 4. You're at the top of the backswing right about there. Okay. At the end, foot's going to stop, ball's going to come through. So your ending in time, your finishing position is not too bad. Okay. So that's a big positive. Okay. Now, footwork wise, you can see kind of a bigger, quicker 1, but then a small 2-3. Okay. Let's just look at some other footwork here. I'm going to use somebody else kind of with a similar height swing as you. Let me use Rick Steelsmith here, just as an example. Now, Rick has always said he's 5'8". I never believed him. Okay, I'll give him 5'7 3/4" on a good day. So set up position, just kind of, casual, small first step. Watch this 2-3. And you can see his swing is about the same height as yours. It's just getting there way differently. Okay. So on step 2, ball goes out and down. The center of the ball's around belt level. You were close to that. But look at the size of the step. And you're way taller than 5'7.5". Okay. On the next step, it comes down and back, whereas yours was kind of under your shoulder by your back leg. His swung a little bit more. The footwork gave him more time. And then step 4 will actually get shorter and quicker. Your step 4 got a little bit bigger because you needed more time. Okay. Foot stops, ball comes through. Okay. A good thing for you to do when you watch your own video, watch it like it's not you. You know how we watch everybody else, we form our own opinion of how they bowl? And some good bowlers will just appeal to your eye. It's like I could just watch them all day. Other good bowlers just don't appeal to your eye. Like, they're good, but I don't like how they bowl. You know how that is, right? You should watch your own game and say, oh my God, that guy throws it great. And then look closer, it's like, oh, that's me. You don't want to look at your own game like it's not you. It's like, what the hell is that guy doing? Like, oh shit, that's me. Okay. But I think we can alter your stance, shorten step 1, and then we'll see what happens on 2-3. If your step 1 gets you kind of cramped, you're going to have shorter steps in there. Bodies are smart. They know where the foul line is. Okay. If we go back to yours, you can kind of see your first step is kind of big and forceful. And then 2-3 are short and quick. Okay. Now, we never want slow feet, but we want to ease into the momentum. Okay. Let's do one more little comparison here. I'm going to get your foot just about to move. All right, your foot's just about to move there. I'm going to use somebody else. Just so we can see size and tempo of step. Use Brad for this again. And I'll get his foot just about to move. Okay, so the foot's about to move with both. Let's click them both together. So you can see you have a much bigger step that happened quicker. In theory, a bigger step would take longer. So you have a big, quick first step. That makes everything past that more forceful. He has a half a step that took longer. He's more easing into the momentum. Okay? And you can see how your arm position is already changing. Okay? So I don't think that stance is necessary. You're getting out of that position already. Okay? Let's go to the next step. We'll click them both together. Okay? You're off your back foot already. He's not on his front foot yet. If I get him off his back foot. Okay? So you see ball position's fairly close. You're just getting there differently. Okay? Let's go to the next step. I got the back toe just touching. You're off your back foot. He's not even past his foot yet. He's not on his front foot. So your beginning footwork is quick. that makes you pull your swing around, which alters hand position. Okay. Even with Steelsmith, he was just below his butt. Brad will be just above his butt here. I think a good position for you on this next step here would be kind of right about here. Okay. And maybe with a smaller, smoother one and a little bit bigger 2 and 3, the ball would have more time. Okay. You've done really good work on your finish because your finishing position is really pretty good. So there's not really an issue with that. Same with time. You're ending in time. Okay. And you have balance. So I think that's fine. Okay. Okay. Yep. Good. Good. So we can work on that stuff. Let's look at another shot from the side with you. It's going to look the same. So one good thing is you're repeating what you're doing. I don't care what somebody does when I first see them. I want to see them repeat it. If I see something different every shot, I really don't know what to work on. Okay. But it's all just one thing at a time. And when you go to practice, you would work on one thing at a time for like 10, 15, 20 shots. Then work on another piece. Then we keep bouncing back and forth. But I think we could alter your stance. Think about a smooth, calmer, smaller step one. And then we'll see what happens with the rest. Let's go to back view. And again, I think that's just too extreme of a position. Okay. Um, both shoulders are almost left of your legs. Okay. Real bad for the low back. I did a study with a physical therapist once where I had 30 electrodes on my back, all these wires hanging out to a computer screen. We tried all different stances. You're twisted and leaned over holding a weight. Not good for the back. Okay. So you're going to be more upright. You can do some of this stuff at home with a mirror. Videos and mirrors are great because what you see isn't necessarily what it feels like. Your body can trick you and fool you once it's a habit. Mirrors and videos can't trick you. So at home with a mirror, I would do it with a ball. You're not going to throw the ball. You just set up. The left arm will be kind of against the side. The right hand can help support the weight. You get your hip out of the way a little bit. So you'll still have the hip right, and the body will be a little bit left. But that creates space. You can just stand there in place and just push the ball out, let it swing back and forth under your shoulder. Right now, you're like really sideways with arms away from your body, holding a weight. That creates lots of tension. And then it's hard to have a free motion when you start with lots of tension. And you can't maintain that position anyway. So I don't think you need that position. As you walk, you're not that bent over anymore. Okay? That's about how much you should be bent over. Okay? Again, finishing position, you get an A+ on your finish, the work you've done in your finish, because it's really good. Okay? Footwork wise. Okay? Just by having the right foot back will open up the body a little bit. When the right foot's turned, then you open up even more. I don't think you need that. If you look at the angle you're creating with the feet, it's facing over here. Okay, but even I've worked with people 4 times your size. Yeah, but everything should face your own lane. Nothing is facing the lane you're bowling on. Look where your shoulders are facing. It's in a lane down here that's not even in the picture. So you have so much adjustments to make to try to hit a line. That's a lot, and that doesn't mean you can't do it. I think it's hard to repeat it. So when there's more moving parts, when you're on, it can be great. When you're off, it can be ugly, and there's not always a happy medium. Okay. Your first step. Do you line up with the inseam of your right foot or the front? What do you look at? Okay, that's fine. So your inseam is right around 20 board. Okay. Your first step goes about 2 to 3 boards to the left. Okay. Okay. What's that? Okay. So that one doesn't quite come in, but in your defense, if that came in, you would have stepped on yourself. It's not passing the other foot. Okay. And then your slide goes to the right to end up where you want. Your slide is going right because the first couple steps took you left. And then you got in your way. You had to get back out of the way. So I don't think the slide going to the right is the issue, but usually we do want to see the slide about the same board as the step before the slide. But look at this step. You started on 20. This step is on about 15. Okay? Which is why you're sliding 5 boards right. And it's deceiving because if you look down at the end, it's like, oh, good, I walked straight. you ended up on the same board you started on, which is different than walking straight. Okay, let's show you with somebody else. Now I use Brad a lot. One I know his game, but it's also alphabetical, so it's quicker. And he is a good example for footwork, actually. Let's make him left-handed again. First step just stays kind of straight. Second step, now we refer to that as a crossover step. We never really want it crossing over. It just stays in tight. Okay. And then the rest are just pretty straight. And here we see the slide coming back to about the same board as the step before the slide. Okay. Yeah. And your hand position of the release isn't the issue. You lose it in your swing. Okay. And it was a sign you pull your swing around. I think you're pulling your swing around because of the what's happening the short 2 and 3. Okay. So you're right. If we look at hand position here, let's use a different video of his for hand position. We use this one here. All right. So as he starts his hand position, and you can see the arms are just close to the body, especially the left one, close to the body, against the side. Think about like a vertical equator of the ball. He is pretty close to the center of the ball. I would say the ring finger is just inside the equator, just a hair, but it's not like way torqued on the ball. Okay. You tend to set up way on the inside of the ball, which most people do that so they don't come around early, but most of the time when you start way on the inside, that makes you come around earlier. Okay. So he just started under the ball. He didn't set up way on the inside. At the top of the swing, same position. His fingers are just a hair inside that equator. At the bottom, it's the same exact position. So that's before he starts his release. He's just a hair inside the equator and goes just outside the equator. So he's rotating through the ball, not so much around the ball. Okay? Let's go to your hand position. Let's go to a close-up view here with you. Let's get your clips up on the bottom. Here we go. All right. So right there, you're already on the outside half of the ball, and you never get back to the center. So this is not a release issue. You're not in the position you want in your swing. Then it's hard to get there in the release. Super common when somebody helps their swing back, they go to the outside half. Now, even here as it comes down, you're a little bit left of the equator. So you're losing the hand position, you're a push away. Nobody feels that. Okay. From the side view, I could see a little bit here from the side. Like your left fingers are on the inside of the ball facing my camera. So you're really torqued. Okay. Even without a ball, if you really torque and then you relax, it goes past flat. If you just start flat and relax, it stays there. Okay. So just a hair outside of the equator there. Now your arm and your hand is past the circumference of the ball. So the top of the swing, you're on the side. Here's the equator. And then you never are able to get back behind it. So even here, you're past the circumference of the ball. So that gives you lots of side turn. The majority of the highest level balls have way more forward turn than side turn. With a lot of side turn, you'll tend to leave more corner pins when you hit the pocket, which in theory makes you a great spare shooter because you get more practice. But it also gives you more under over ball motion off the end of the pattern, especially on a sport shot. On a house shot, you'll tend to get away with it. So at the release point, there's not much finger motion because your fingers are there already. That's your thumb coming out. Let me show you a little example. I'll go from a less powerful position to a more, and I already showed you Brad was a little bit more powerful position. Let's go to a little bit less powerful. Let's use Danielle for this. We'll make her left-handed. So if I get her thumb coming out of the ball, okay, so right there, her thumb is coming out of the ball. Notice none of her hand is past the circumference. You're past the circumference. If I go back 3/10 of a second with you, your fingers are about in the same spot. If I go back 3/10 of a second with her, she's in the center of the ball. So she has that through and around motion at the release point, which just produces a stronger ball roll. If we go up to the hip, think about that vertical equator. If we go up to your hip, okay, but you're literally losing your hand position as you push, and then you never get back to where you want to get to. Okay, so we would have to work on hand position in the swing to then be able to see what the hand position is at the release. A super good drill you can do at home with a mirror, and mirrors are great. You don't have to leave your house, and you see what you can't feel, right? Uh, and also when you stand in place, there's no timing, there's no footwork. Okay, so some of the things might go away without timing, which then would confirm late timing is causing some of this. Okay, you could stand at home with a mirror with a ball, not even take a step, push the ball out, let it swing back and forth, and put it back in your hand. And make sure your hand stays steady in the center of the ball. You can look at your hand if you need to. Obviously, full approach, we don't want you watching your hand. But then you start to feel what that looks like. You know, we're all visual. Once you see it, you'll start to feel it. Okay. Now, if we look at a different shot with you, it's going to look the same. So again, you're repeating what you're doing, but I think what you're repeating is keeping you from being even better. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You know, and I'm lucky I get to work with a lot of the higher level bowlers, right? So when I see somebody doing something far away from what I see the highest level bowlers do for the majority, you're either onto something they don't know about yet or you're not. They're bowling for their money. If some of this stuff worked, somebody on tour would be doing it. Okay. I could go bowler after bowler. There's nobody past the circumference of the ball in their swing. Okay. And same thing with the stance. I kind of get what you're trying to do here, but I think it's overdone. Okay. So we can back off on that a little bit. Okay. But you do have way more good than bad, but what these things are keeping you back. And it's just more work. You know, you are, what are you? You're still relatively young. Notice I said relatively. Okay. But imagine being 50 or 60 setting up like that. That's not going to feel good. Okay. All right. Let's stop recording here. We're going to save all that. So we just talked enough about enough for you to work on for 6 to 12 months. So